Lots to discuss with CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham this morning. Eric, good morning to you. Before we get to this news specifically on Epstein, I think it's important for our viewers to know that once the government shutdown is over, Speaker Johnson is going to be swearing in an Arizona representative, and that could be key in releasing these Epstein files by the Dems. Can we start there and talk to us about how the attention is now likely to focus back to the Epstein files with the shutdown coming to an end?
That's a really good place to start, Marcia. Thanks for that. We know that, and now already Speaker Johnson, who has been receiving a lot of pushback, has said that he will actually swear in this newest member of Congress, who's already stated that she will sign this discharge petition that was actually put forward by both a Democrat and Republican to release the Epstein files. And once that petition has the requisite number of signatures, it then forces the government to release these documents. Now, already we're beginning to get a preview of what we could see and how highly charged and explosive much of this information is, because it does tie directly back to Donald Trump, with Epstein himself specifically mentioning Donald Trump and some of the victims themselves. And so now we're moving into this place where, once again, you might begin to see some of the MAGA base begin to push back on the president himself. And it becomes, I think, a larger question of what role and how can those around Donald Trump continue to shield him from much of the explosive nature of a lot of these documents that we're going to likely see if, in fact, these Epstein files are released.
So, Eric, people already knew, we just showed the photo of Trump and Epstein, that the two had ties together. They were linked. They were buddies for a while. Is there any way that these emails could be more damaging to President Trump? And I just want to specifically read something that was written by Mr. Epstein to the author, Mr. Wolf. He said of Trump, of course he knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. So what does this mean now for President Trump?
Well, because Epstein is no longer here to actually not only corroborate this information, and we know that Maxwell herself is aggressively attempting to get a pardon from the Trump administration, this now just becomes a he said, with one person no longer available to actually corroborate the information. And we know Donald Trump will certainly push back and say he knew nothing about it, and somehow claim that he is just a victim in all of this. That's likely what we're going to see. But again, I think it becomes what and how much more information in black and white can or do these files hold that actually begin to paint a very clear and direct picture linking the two men. Already we know from the Wall Street Journal, when they actually released that card, that birthday letter that was sent from Donald Trump to Epstein. So clearly there is a relationship that we know that is there. But again, how much more information, and more importantly, just how damaging does this come? We know Donald Trump as a politician has been Teflon, but does this actually begin to push much of his base away from him? Because again, it was Donald Trump who used this as a great conspiracy against Democrats, saying that once in office he would release this information, and now has refused to do so. And we know that has rankled some of those within his own base.
Yeah. He said that they're politicizing this, the Democrats. All right, Eric, we're going to be following this throughout the day. Really glad that you could join us with your reaction. CTV News U.S. political analyst Eric Ham, thanks again. Just ahead,